For quick context, I'm a very shy, 22-year-old girl with a large chest, unfortunately. I have a favorite denim jacket that my dad bought for me just before he died that makes me feel confident, and it covers up my assets well. However, my mother-in-law hates it. Mother-in-law has a similar build to me but dresses much more provocatively. She is a strong believer in showing off the blessings that God gave you, as she says. Dear husband and I have only been married for a short time, but my relationship with mother-in-law was generally good though up until now. The story. It was a few days before my sister-in-law's engagement party at a country club. I was shopping around trying to find a dress that I would feel good in, but I was having trouble finding a flattering, budget-friendly dress. However, I still hadn't found what I was looking for. The day before the party, mother-in-law suggested I borrow one of her dresses, which I thought was nice of her because she has a lot of really nice clothes. So, mother-in-law and I are going through her closet, and I quickly realized that most of her dresses were a bit too risque for my liking. But I did find a red maxi dress. Mother-in-law shut that idea down because she thought it wouldn't be the right style for an evening party. Instead, she picked out a black strapless tight-fitting low-cut dress that I would definitely not be comfortable in. She kept insisting I wear it, and I needed a dress, so I agreed since I figured I could wear my denim jacket over it anyway. Maybe if I felt comfortable, I would take it off at dinner or something, maybe. Now, it's engagement party time. I arrive at the party wearing the dress with a bunch of family and unfamiliar faces, and easily decided there is no way I'm taking my jacket off. The dress exposes way too much of my body, and I felt super insecure. Dinner time arrives. Dear husband and I are sitting at our table just chatting with dear husband's friends when mother-in-law literally yells, "Oh my god, enough with that freaking jacket," and just starts stripping my jacket off of me. I didn't even realize what was happening until she almost pulled my freaking top down. Everyone saw. I don't know what exactly they saw because the whole thing happened so fast, and I managed to secure the front of the dress, but people were staring over at us for what felt like forever. Fast forward to now and mother-in-law still has my freaking jacket. I asked dear husband to get it from her because I don't want to talk to her, but he doesn't seem fazed by any of this. He keeps saying, well, no one saw anything. It was funny, no big deal. I don't understand why he doesn't get how much of a big deal this actually is. I tried to not make a big thing of it at the party because I didn't want to ruin sister-in-law's night, but I really want my jacket back. Mother-in-law keeps denying that she has it, and dear husband does not want me to start a fight with her. What do I do? Am I overreacting? Mother-in-law moves in without asking. Okay, I have a nightmare mother-in-law situation and I need advice. Been with my fiancée for almost 2 years. She has 3 children, and we are expecting our first child together in a couple months. Fiancée just moved in with me 3 months ago. Here's the issue. Shortly after moving in with me, I noticed her mom showed up unannounced over the weekend, and stayed for 3 days. Well, it wasn't a one-time deal. She has continued to show up unannounced at our doorstep every single week, give or take 2 weekends over the past 3 months. She basically lives with us part-time whenever she has a stretch of days off work. She is at our house, doesn't ask, doesn't tell us she's coming. Hell, she doesn't even ring the doorbell. She just walks in, and stays her happy ass in my home for 3 days straight. I've brought this up numerous times with my fiancée, which turns out to be a touchy subject for the obvious reason that it is her mother. My fiancée has never had a stable relationship even though she has 3 children. So her mother being present is something she has grown used to, and basically doesn't see an issue with it. I've explained to my fiancée that this is now our life together, not her mother's. She is welcome in our home, but I would appreciate a heads up before she arrives. Nothing is getting any better and I have no idea how to make this stop. My fiancée literally yelled at her own mother, and said, "You can't just show up whenever you want. You need to tell us." This has not changed a thing. If I push this issue any further, my fiancée will accuse me of being obsessive and controlling for trying to change the way her life has always been. I don't think this is fair to me considering I bought the house for her and her children. We live off of my income alone, and yet I still have to welcome her mother in my home as if she owns it. I am at a loss as to what to say to my significant other. We have our first baby due in April, so leaving is no option. Our house is already freaking tiny the way it is. This issue has made me confined to my own bedroom just to get some privacy. My fiancé continues to ask me why I'm crabby, what's wrong, why am I uncomfortable, but is oblivious to the fact that it is because her mother has taken over my freaking house and privacy. Mother-in-law pressured me into being friends with my husband's ex, and then made everything even worse. How would you guys feel about this? My husband is still friends with an ex-girlfriend he had nearly 10 years ago. I did not have a problem with it at first until his mother, 60, told him to leave me and get back with her. 2 years ago I had to go meet her. We came home after the meeting, and it was just horrible for me. It was horrible for me to see the two of them so close, and it made me very uncomfortable. That night my husband's mother stayed over at our place, and basically realized that I didn't feel well after the whole thing. So she tried to make me talk about my feelings, which I didn't want, so I just went to bed. The next morning I explained to her that I just was feeling weird about the experience, and that I have never been in a situation like that. She basically told me to grow up because everybody is friends with their exes, and that's normal. Later that week she again talked to me in the car about it, and told me how she was really afraid that I would not want my husband to see his ex again, and that I have to understand that she and her family will always be a huge part of his life, and that I should not take that away from him, and that I should be friends with her because she is one of the most amazing people in the world. So I just did what she said. Even though I cried, and got hurt every time I saw her, it got way worse when I realized that she still had all the couple pictures on her Facebook, and when I finally made it into all the family group chats she was still in there. Mother-in-law also has photo books at all the tables that show them as a couple. Also mother-in-law started to talk about my husband's and his ex's sex life in front of me, and it makes me so uncomfortable. I talked to her about it, but it still makes me uncomfortable. Every time I have to see her I just think about that. Why is it not okay for me to just not want that? I mean, if he wants to stay in contact it's fine. But shouldn't it be okay to feel the way you feel, and maybe not be okay with it? I just don't want to be her friend anymore. TLDR, why do I have to be friends with his ex just because his mom thinks it's normal? Future mother-in-law, my boyfriend and I are pretty close to getting married soon, and he's planning to propose next year. We have been together for almost 6 years, and we are both sophomores in university. In the beginning of the relationship, things were weird because we were both young kids and meeting of the parents was new to both of us. His mom didn't really like me in the very beginning, but she didn't really even know me at the time. Side note, she has 3 kids, including him, and it's obvious that he's the favorite, and she just puts the other 2 on the back burner. I was always nice and polite to both his parents, but it always seemed off. Throughout the years, we started to become close sophomore to junior year, and then senior year, my freshman year of college, we were super close. We texted on and off. She invited me and my family over for Thanksgiving, and exchanged gifts for Christmas. They owned a small store where we lived because for them to stay in the country they had to work, his dad mostly, and because they're Australian. The store shut down at the end of our senior year, freshman year in college. Her husband ultimately had to go back to Australia, and it was just her and the 2 kids. I helped them out a lot by picking his sister up from school, and taking her back home, and dog sitting for when my future mother-in-law was doing errands. They always blamed me when my boyfriend wanted to go out and see a bunch of movies, or whatever we did, when in fact, he likes to see movies all the time. My boyfriend is so scared to upset his mom that when he was at my house he would always leave at 8 p.m. because he didn't want to upset her, or if he wanted to hang out, she would be really passive-aggressive towards him, so sometimes we wouldn't even hang out. Now that the proposal is coming up, she's coming up with every excuse as to why he shouldn't marry me, etc. Since we're both in college, that comes with a lot of debt. Luckily, his parents are paying for everything, so he won't have any debt when we graduate versus me. I will not only have university debt, but law school debt as well because I am planning to attend veterinary school, so debt came up, and mortgages, and paying bills also came up. Side note, I pay for everything I have a job, and the only thing I don't pay for is my phone bill. Maybe if they allowed him to be independent, and pay for his own things then he wouldn't be so helpless. They're doing a great disservice to him, in my opinion, and I don't really know his dad's opinion on us because he basically follows the lead of his wife or he'll get punished for it basically. He once told my boyfriend that he never saw us together because I'm of a different race. I'm Chinese, and my boyfriend is Anglo, and doesn't approve of my parents because my mother is Mexican, and my father is white. I'm adopted. All in all, she's controlling, passive-aggressive, and strange. She even made a new Facebook and Instagram, and blocked me on both. I texted her numerous times to ask how she was doing, Happy Mother's Day, and a happy birthday. If she didn't want me to text her, she could have simply texted me that, and have been done with it, but not completely cut me off like that. I am just getting so sick of this. Backstory: when I was 18, my mother kicked me out just before senior year of high school started. I lived with one lady for a few months before my boyfriend's family took me in. Everyone was great, and understanding of my predicament. I had some money coming from child support checks from my dad. For a few months, it was 7 people in a 3-bedroom house. I slept on the couch until my boyfriend, his mother and I got a small 2-bedroom 1-bath apartment across the street. My boyfriend and I in one room, the smallest, and mother-in-law in the other, the biggest. I paid rent until my checks ran out, and got a job a couple months after graduation. Everything was going fine until about 2 years ago. My boyfriend is on disability because he has physical diseases, so he cannot work, and feels bad that he can't. And backstory: now both my boyfriend and I pay the rent, everything included, buy the groceries, phone bill, etc. Mother-in-law does not. She takes our money, and pays it. We try to save for dates, things we want, gifts. But nope, she takes any that's left over, and spends it on bingo and the lottery. Now after everything is paid for, there is maybe $20 or so left. I have since taken that extra 20, and stored it away to where she can't touch it. Side note: during the months I was unemployed, she did work for a delivery company to bring it a bit of money. She lords this over us till this day. Another thing, I deep clean the entire apartment every 2 weeks when I get the house to myself for a whole day. She knows this, and when she gets home, she will look for something I missed, and clean that little bit up, and act like she did all the work. She will claim that she is the only one that cleans, which is not true. My BF is well aware of all of this, and agrees that she needs her own place, but the one, and only time we brought it up, she threw a big fit that we didn't love or care about her. She stormed out, drove to the bingo hall, and cried to her friends, all of who called to yell at us for being ungrateful. Her niece, who lives across from us, chewed us out for not considering her feelings, and shouldn't demand such things. She has since claimed that the only way she would move out was if we were to have a child, which she has kept from happening, because every time my boyfriend and I get in the mood, she interrupts us with some bogus video she found, or she complains that we never spend time with her. We have to wait until we are alone in the apartment, which is rare. She sits at home all day, and is never gone long enough for us to do anything. Today, I have reached a boiling point. I was in the middle of cleaning the cabinets, and she walks in, and starts complaining that she is the only one that puts anything away. Not true. When we go grocery shopping, she will fill the cart up, my boyfriend and I load, and unload the car, and put everything up while she complains that she is hurting. Her son is feeling worse than she is. Anyways, I wanted to yell at her, but I didn't need to be ganged up on again, and made to feel guilty, so I just stopped doing what I was doing, walked out of the house, and went for a long walk up to the nearest grocery store for some comfort food. I called boyfriend, so he wouldn't worry, and told him not to tell her where I was going. She is an entitled person in her own right, and she has no real reason to be. She has no steady work, no money to call her own. She looks at houses in the millions, and talks as if we just won $1 billion. She talks of the future we would have there, like we would just continue living in the same home as her forever. She also thinks that even if we didn't live in the same home as her, she would live next door, and come over whenever she wanted to. She acts polite, and nice, but isn't. She acts like she understands what I went through. Hell, but tries to one-up it. This was just a summary of some of the things she does. Not everything. His mother doesn't like or respect me. So, here is the situation. I have been with my husband for 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter together. Her and I haven't really ever gotten along due to the fact that when my husband gets mad, and runs to his mother, and then talks crap about me, he even makes up lies to make me look even worse than what really is going on. He doesn't tell her this crap that he does, just that I am a swine, and argue with him, and adds lies to what he tells her. She barely sees our daughter. She buys stuff for her once in a while, and in fact when he told her we were pregnant, she said she didn't want anything to do with the baby. But a few months before she was born, she started buying stuff. That was already a red flag. There's things that she has done while having the baby I don't agree with. She obviously doesn't respect me, and takes his word about me when he is talking crap. I really tried with this lady, but I don't know what else to do. I've asked his ass multiple times to stop running to his mother because his parents don't like me, and I know for a fact his mother talks crap to his whole family. I feel very uncomfortable being around any of them because of it. A month ago I reached out to her, and told her I don't want problems, and tried to put effort in the relationship, and took my daughter to see her. Then of course him and I argued days later, and then he goes, and talks crap to her about me yet again. Then she wants my daughter to go over there soon, but if she doesn't respect me, talks crap about me, and doesn't take care of my child how I would like, is it wrong of me to end that relationship, and her interaction with my child? Especially since I put the effort in, and I still get disrespected. What are your thoughts? Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.